Nice. Yeah, let's take a seat anyway. After we settle down back. All right. Officers, just get to your seats quickly. Everybody coming through on board. Sit down right here. Sit down right here. Kindly stand. Join me. Please remain standing as we recite the national pledge. I pledge myself and to be loyal to my country, to be obedient to the laws of Guyana, to love my fellow citizens, and to dedicate my energies toward the happiness and prosperity of Guyana. I'll now invite the prayers, Christian, Muslim, and Hindu.
Let's pray. Most gracious and heavenly Father, it is you in whom we live and move and have our being. So at this time, dear Lord, we invite your presence, O God. I pray, dear God, that every deliberation, O God, that we may have here, O God, will be fruitful to the advancement of the Guyana Police Force. Bless each and every one of us in a special way according to our needs. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Irrahmanirrahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi waladdallin. Amin.
Om Bhurgavasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yona Prachorayat Swaha.
Thank you. We can all take our seats. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Chancellor of the Judiciary Acting, Chief Justice Acting, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Director of Public Prosecutions, National Security Advisor, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs, Heads of the Joint Services, Chief of Staff, Commissioner of Police Acting, Director of Prison, Head of Kano, Director of National Intelligence and Security Agency, retired Commissioners of Police, Mrs. Silal Prasad, DSM, and Leslie James, DSS, DSM, Chair of the National Road Safety Council, serving and retired members of the Guyana Police Force and Joint Services, members of the media, members of the Fallen Heroes Foundation, Inc., our religious leaders, special invitees, a pleasant good morning to you all. The Guyana Police Force is indeed delighted to host everyone present here today for yet another annual Police Officers Conference with the theme Promoting Improvement of Public Trust and Confidence, Maintaining Safety and Security through Competence, Professionalism, and Partnerships. At the opening session of the previous conference held at the National Culture Center, His Excellency delivered his chart to the Guyana Police Force. He elucidated on the criteria to achieve success, that is, to provide adequate security to the public by the Guyana Police Force, We must have appropriate resources, both material and human, the right partnerships, and strategies to combat crime. His Excellency gave his government's commitment to provide unwavering support to the force to achieve swift acquisition of material resources, including vehicles and equipment, develop our human resources, and encourage that we forge strategic partnerships and form effective crime fighting strategies. To face prevailing and future security challenges we faced. Regarding the acquisition of material resources and human resources development through scholarships and other professional training, His Excellency pledge at Conference 2021 was definitely sincere. This will be confirmed and the details are provided shortly by the Commissioner of Police in his presentation. Nevertheless, being emboldened by His Excellency's encouragement to foster strategic partnerships resulted in the Guyana Police Force establishing memorandum of agreements and memorandum of understanding with tertiary institutions such as the University of Guyana, Nations University Inc., and professional skills training agencies such as CASIC School of Accounting, GTI, GITC, the Ministry of Public Services and its training center, Global Technologies, to name a few. Importantly, these partnerships are in addition to those existing ones with CBSI Connects, Cops and Faith Networks, CPG, station management committees, the private sector, and chambers of commerce. We also developed close working relationship with the Anti-Money Laundering Institute in Miami, USA, and the Police Training Institute in Calcutta, India. Moreover, within the past year, we have managed to secure scholarships as follows. 2 ranks to pursue degree in aeronautical engineer, 1 at Oval and 1 to Barbados. 3 ranks to pursue bachelor's in degree at the University of Guyana. 1 officer to complete ACCA. 1 rank to complete bachelor's in general medicine. The memorandum of agreement with the University of Guyana resulted in several members of the force benefiting from a range of courses in different disciplines and continuing, all sponsored by the Guyana Police Force. Further, several curricula are prepared and awaiting certification geared specifically to address professional training needs of the organization at all levels, to be delivered at the Felix Austin Police College and the University of Guyana campuses. These programs are situational type training on issues that currently plague us, such as effectively restraining a suspect prisoner or prisoner, weapons handling and its usage during interactions with members of the public, responding to practical situations such as robbery under arms, public order issues, and fire scenes, etc. Further, the University of Guyana is assisting to make the Felix Austin Police College a bona fide training institution through accreditation by the National Accreditation Council of Guyana, a process soon to be completed. We are at the stage of training our quality assurance team and certifying the police instructors at the Faculty of Education at the University of Guyana. Moreover, with the assistance of Zara Group of companies, the force is several weeks shy of establishing another computer center at the Wisma Police Station compound, Region 10. Work is presently ongoing to make the facility operational by Easter of 2022. And we are seeking out space to do likewise at Fort Wellington Police Station or nearby, Central Police Station at New Amsterdam, Diamond Headquarters, East Bank, Demerara, to be completed in the year 2022. And as soon as the new police station at the Lamstel West Coast, Demerara, is finished, we are going to establish another center there, perhaps late 2022 or early 2023. This will enable the Guyana Police Force, through the Felix Austin Police College, to conduct certain virtual training, thereby improving our ability to train members of the force at a faster pace without causing too much disruptions to the service delivery of the police regional divisions. It will also assist the trained members of the public, especially youths, in support of the community relations drive. Moreover, the Guyana Police Force would be able to conduct the theoretical driving examination online using the Moodle platform, which would mitigate against complaints of corruption and delays in marking of the examination scripts. This is premised on analysis of investigations done by the Office of Professional Responsibility touching the issue of corruption in the driver's license process. which revealed that frequent and close contact during the tutorial sessions serve as opportunity for enticement. We have already tested the system with good results, drafted the regulations to guide implementation, prepared the demonstration video to be online on our platform soon, digitized all the written materials, and we are now preparing the video audio lectures to cover the topics that we currently lecture to tutorials by the traffic department. As we are establishing efficient and convenient payment system, MMG, payment at the bank, and the traditional walk-in payment before we go to the centers, to be invigilated, of course, by the cops and faith networks. And the requirements, ID cards, and TIN remains intact. On developing effective crime fighting strategies, it is twofold: strengthen internal systems and external methodologies. To this end, the Faculty of Social Sciences at the University of Guyana assisted to complete the Guyana Police Force Strategic Plan 2021-2026, together with all the necessary terms of references, policy documents, standard operating procedures, and implementation framework document. These documents are with the Commissioner of Police, awaiting his approval. Externally, serious crimes detection and prevention is now more intelligence-driven. Usage of technology such as drones, CCTV, and other digital systems are in play. And we've had successes with convictions in the court. Additionally, the Department of Law at the University of Guyana is currently assisting the Guyana Police Force Strategic Unit to revise the existing standing orders and establish 10 new ones for the Guyana Police Force. The standing orders will soon be drafted in a professional and legal manner, devoid of conflicts with the Constitution and other substantive legislation, such as the Police Complaint Authority Act, Chapter 17:02, for just $1,200,000 Guyana dollars. It would be remiss of me not to mention that our achievements, especially the improvement of our infrastructure and building, which is visible for everyone to see at Ivleri and across the country, was done by prioritizing our budget, which demonstrates that more could be done with what we have available. That includes rehabilitation of the drill square at TSU, other buildings around headquarters, and of course, refurbishing and make it operational the Sports Secretariat office, which was defunct for almost 2 decades. On the human rights side, we have forged closer collaboration with the Ministry of Social Security through COP Squad training, ILEA through the US Embassy, where several officers recently returned from training in human rights, and 6 new instructors are due to go to that facility to be trained as trainers in human rights and policing. They in turn will lecture at our colleges to policemen and women. We've also decentralized various units of the Guyana Police Force, SWAT, logistics, maintenance unit, and immigration services to new locations across the force to make these services readily available for citizens in Guyana. His Excellency, distinguished guests, officers and members of the media, welcome to the Police Officers Annual Conference 2022. Kindly allow me to introduce to you an individual who is well known. He arrived in Guyana on December 27, 1967 at the West Coast Demerara and joined the Guyana Police Force on November 16, 1987. He served the force in several departments and divisions, namely Special Branch, Police Finance Department, Tactical Services Unit, and then a division, to name a few. During his tenure in the force, he secured a Master's in Business Administration, Bachelor's degree in Management, and is currently an undergraduate at the University of London, True Nations University, leading for his Bachelor's degree in Law. This individual successfully completed several overseas and local professional programs as well. He is no other than our current Acting Commissioner of Police, Mr. Nigel Hoppy, DSM. May I now invite you, Commissioner, to deliver your address, sir.
Thank you very much, Conference Chairman, Deputy Commissioner Acting Mr. Calvin Brutus, Madam Honorable, Your Excellency, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Madam Chancellor of the Judiciary, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Madam Chief Justice, Ms. Roxanne George, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, National Security Advisor, Mr. Jerry Gavayo, Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Salimar Aliak, Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Mr. Godfrey Best, other heads of the joint services, retired commissioners of police, Mr. Sila Al-Passad and Mr. Leslie James, Director of NISA, Mr. Omar Khan, senior and junior ranks of the Guyana Police Force, senior and junior ranks of the joint services, conference, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, good morning. Your Excellency, permit me on behalf of the entire force and further to that given by the conference chairman to bid you welcome to the opening ceremony of our annual Police Officers Conference 2022. I wish to specifically extend a hearty welcome to our President and Commander-in-Chief for taking this time off from his busy schedule to be here at conference. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm indeed eager and excited at the holding of this year's annual Police Officers Conference, where we will review and analyze our operations, administrative procedures, policing challenges and strategies, and plans for the future towards the continuing maintenance of our mandate of ensuring the safety and security of our nation. Our conference theme of promoting improvement of public trust and confidence and maintaining safety and security through competence, professionalism, and partnership has highlighted some of those areas within which we will examine ourselves. Despite challenges and experiences of the past year, the Guyana Police Force has remained committed to its mandate through intelligence-led policing and proactive strategies. Our significant efforts have reduced the crime rate and road fatalities, and we have maintained a stable and safe and peaceful society. For last year, 2021, the Guyana Police Force has recorded an overall 18.8% reduction in serious crime compared to the previous year, 2020. There's been a concomitant 16.6% decrease in murders, with figures of 157 in 2020 and 131 in 2021, and a 31.5% decrease in robberies under arms, with figures of 888 in 2020 and 608 in 2021. Of note, last year's figures was the best in the last decade. However, the offense of rape has seen an increase of 50.5% compared to 2020, with a total of 304 such occurrences in 2021 compared to 202 during 2020. Firearms use during 565 incidents of robberies under arms in 2020 and on 399 occasions in 2021. A total of 12 persons lost their lives during armed robberies in 2021, the same figure in 2020. On to March 8 this year, we have recorded a 16% decrease in serious crimes compared to the same period last year. A total of 71 firearms were recovered by the police during last year, 2021, comprising 36 pistols, 18 revolvers, and 17 shotguns. So far this year, and that's up to the 8th, 14 firearms were removed, but up to last night we were able to remove another 2. Focus on illegal drugs during last year resulted in 536 kilograms of cocaine being interdicted during police operations, resulting in 42 cases being made and 49 persons charged, and 589 kilograms of cannabis were seized, with 389 cases being made and 419 persons charged. Marijuana interdiction eradication operations saw 131 fields of cultivated marijuana with an estimated weight of 2.8 million kgs, along with quantities of dried cannabis with an estimated weight of 383,000 kgs found and destroyed. 11 cases were made, with 16 persons being charged and placed before the courts. Your Excellency, we are working assiduously to reduce the threats to society of trafficking in persons and domestic violence. In relation to domestic violence, currently, police ranks are being trained under the COP Squad 2000 initiative, launched by the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, with the aim of providing specialized training in dealing with issues of gender-based violence. This augments the institutionalized training being done at the Police Felix Austin College and is in order to ensure that such matters are handled with the required level of seriousness and urgency and in a manner that accords international best practice. Domestic violence units have been established at the Criminal Investigations Department and in every policing region throughout our country. The availability of statistics reveal that the police received and dealt with 1,692 reports of domestic violence during last year, 2021, resulted in 814 cases and 814 persons were charged. This is in comparison to 1,665 reports in 2020, where 71 cases were made and 771 persons were charged. The police received and dealt with 35 reports in trafficking in person during last year, resulted in 18 cases and 11 persons being charged, while 39 reports were received in 2020, with 8 cases made and 2 persons charged. During last year, 2021, intensified traffic campaigns and the use of radar guns and breathalyzers throughout the country have resulted in significant reduction by 32% in fatal accidents compared to 2020, with 87 in 2021 as against 128 in 2020, and a consequential 29% decrease in road fatalities, with 99 in 2021 compared to 139 in 2020. This figure here is the best in the last 16 years. Pedestrian 30 and motorcyclist 20 have been the major categories of road users who have lost their lives on the roadways last year, with speeding accounting for 37 and inattentiveness accounting for 36, being the main contributing causes. 3 children lost their lives on our roadways in 2021 compared to 5 during 2020. Traffic enforcement throughout the country last year resulted in a total of 11,708 cases for speeding, 1,097 cases for driving under the influence, and 2,089 cases for unlicensed drivers, among others. On to March 8 this year, we have recorded a decrease of 9.5% in road fatalities compared to the similar period last year, with 19 fatalities from 15 accidents this year, as against 21 from 20 last year. It is anticipated that a vibrant road infrastructure development being carried out by government, coupled with continued vigorous traffic enforcement and education, the observing of the 5 C's, care, courtesy, consideration, caution, and common sense, together with confirmation to the road safety rules and regulations by all categories of road users, and the continuing assistance being given by the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Ministry of Public Works, and the National Road Safety Council, and all other stakeholders will combine to further reduce the occurrences of fatal accidents and road fatalities. Of note is the fact that electric bikes and scooters are becoming increasingly popular in the country. Consequently, the Guyana Police Force has engaged the Guyana Revenue Authority towards implementation of rules governing their use. Your Excellency, I am satisfied that we have successfully dealt with significant challenges and experiences that faced us during last year, and the force has been making every effort to carry out its mandate. Criticisms continue to be made against the force, and persons tend to forget the exceptional work of the many police ranks who, despite the criticism and challenges, work assiduously in the implementation of strategies which see success and stand as a testimony to the police's undying nature and commitment to ensuring public safety and security. Excellency, members of the police force were inspired and motivated by a recent pronouncement that we are integral to the development of the Government One Guyana policy, and with your reaffirming of the government's commitment to improving the force's capacity and the welfare of ranks. This commitment has been visibly evidenced by the government's consistent strengthening of the country's security sector by striving to ensure that police is adequately equipped and assisting with its capacity building. It is not only with material and human resources, but also with the passage of new legislations and the training of ranks, including the provision of scholarships for senior officers to pursue masters and degrees at the University of Guyana in order for us to maintain that high level of performance. In addition, as a result of discussion between the Police Association and government, a number of ranks have been allocated house slots. We are cognizant of the passage of the bill in Parliament to allow police to legally carry less lethal weapons that include stun guns, taser, and chemical irritants, and the amendment of the laws to take into account synthetic drugs such as ecstasy and Molly. The force is also keenly aware of the government's unfolding of a policy of prison reform through training opportunities for inmates in effort to reduce recidivism and support reintegration into society that will have a positive impact on the fight against crime. We are also cognizant of the passing of this year's budgetary allocation to strengthen the assets of the police force, including the use of technology, building infrastructure, training, and the strengthening of community policing groups who give significant support in the fight against crime. During the past year, the Guyana Police Force experienced setbacks with severe damages to our building infrastructure through 3 separate incidents of fire, one at police quarters at Vigilance, the Breakdown Police Station, and the building at headquarters area that houses the Office of the Professional Responsibility and the ranks at the police headquarters who reside at the barracks. The fire at Breakdown has posed a tremendous loss and presents a significant challenge in the reconstruction of files in active and pending criminal and traffic matters. In recognition of the likely trauma to be experienced by ranks attached to these areas, particularly at the Breakdown Station, the police force initiated mental health and welfare assistance and assessment for concerned ranks. However, notwithstanding the unfortunate destruction of its major police station, the police force continued unhindered to provide quality service to the public in that regional policing division. And we are heartened at the alacrity with which government has responded, with the reconstruction of the Breakdown Police Station being high on its agenda and a work in progress. At the same time, we are appreciative of the extensive construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of police infrastructure by way of continuing works on a number of other police stations and buildings throughout the country. Your Excellency, the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic and its ensuing spread has to varying degrees impacted on the force's social crime prevention program and the training of ranks to improve their general skill set and capabilities. Individually, we have not avoided the impact of the virus. A number of our ranks contracted the virus and others have been self-quarantined as a precautionary measure. Thankfully, we are all okay right now. Vaccination remains the best defense against the virus, and in this regard, the force has ensured, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and in instances with the assistance from other agencies such as the Central Islamic Organization of Guyana, the U.S. Embassy Military Information Support Team, that vaccination drives were conducted to its ranks. While the COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected the vibrancy of our social crime prevention program in the policing divisions, we nevertheless continue to maintain our social interaction with the various community leaders in efforts to enhance police-community relations. In keeping with this trust, the construction and furnishing of a home at Prosville, Linden, for a single mother of two who was faced with dire living conditions was realized. This was through the initiative of police ranks of Regional Police Division Number 10 with the provision of adequate financing, meaningfully assisted by members of the business community. Other activities within our communities in all divisions spread across the country included the distribution of face masks and sanitizers, distribution of hampers to the elderly, medical outreaches, and road safety talks to school. The pandemic has also affected our training curriculum. However, during the year, 1,333 ranks were exposed to critical training locally in 68 subject areas. These included trafficking in person, child abuse, human rights, cybercrime investigation, information technology, domestic violence, crime scene investigation, and container control in collaboration with government ministries and other agencies, and in some instances, including the U.S. State Department. Recruitment training will recommence shortly, Your Excellency. 30 ranks have also participated in the relevant training program overseas in areas that included maritime surveillance, small arms control, and public safety. The force has been enhanced and has seen enhanced training in criminal investigations department, inclusive of crime processing and investigative, as well as crime intelligence type training. This has led to successes in cracking several high-profile cases, which has been the subject of much of the criticisms channeled in our direction. In addition, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between the Guyana Police Force and Cacique Accounting College for the training of ranks in accountancy, and a memorandum of agreement has been signed with the Nation University to undertake prosecutorial training. This training has commenced and is ongoing under both institutions. In underscoring the Guyana Police Force's commitment and unwavering support to the development of its ranks through training and education, during last year, a total of 45 members of the force have completed studies at institutions of higher learning, comprising 22 ranks who graduated from the University of Guyana with degrees and diplomas, and 23 others from institutions including the Institute of Distant and Continuing Education. We are still battling with the deviant behavior of some ranks, particularly corruption, but we are dealing with those who would wish to tarnish our image and undermine the great strides we have been making either departmentally or criminally as warranted. We are dealing with such matters through our decentralized police Office of Professional Responsibility, and presently we have 45 ranks before the court on various charges inclusive of manslaughter, demanding with menace, assault causing actual bodily harm, murder, simple larceny, causing death by dangerous driving, and attempting to pervert the course of justice. 10 ranks were also charged departmentally. During last year, the department received 202 complaints against members of the force compared to 193 in 2020. With the aim of improving our service in immigration and passport department, during last year, arrangements were put in place, thankfully to government, for residents of Region 1, Barima Waini, and Region 2, Pomeroon Supernam, to make application for and to uplift their passports at the Anna Regina Immigration and Passport Office, which is located at the Anna Regina Police Station on the Essequibo Coast, thereby eliminating the need for persons to travel to Georgetown, which can be time-consuming and costly. On the softer side, and as a mechanism for social interaction with the public, the Guyana Police Force was involved in sporting activities locally and internationally. This involves participating in swimming, football, cricket, and mixed martial arts. Your Excellency, with high morale and having remained resilient and responding with determination, Despite the challenges, the Guyana Police Force has generally done well during 2021. We have prevailed and discharged our mandate, and with the meaningful and tangible support of the government, our law enforcement partners, and other stakeholders, we will continue to work tirelessly to ensure that citizens feel safe and in our country and society. Let me take this opportunity to urge members of the force to always be professional in their behavior and conduct, showing courtesy towards members of the public, and to avoid corrupt practices. Let us build bridges with the public and improve our image in order that we can enhance public trust and confidence that are so essential for good policing. Cognizant of our expanding oil and gas sector, the expected increase in foreign investment, anticipated increase in tourism, along with migrants from neighboring countries and the region, I reiterate my call on all ranks of the Guyana Police Force to let us put our minds and shoulders to the wheel of law enforcement in a unified process towards the fostering of a healthy, stable, and conducive and encouraging environment to bolster the government's takeoff in the economic development of Guyana. I wish to conclude by saying that Guyana Police Force has nothing to hide. It has sustained its reputation for courage, impartiality, and service to the public over many difficult years. It is important that the integrity, reputation, and tradition of the force be maintained, and with God help, I trust that it will continue to hold its head up high. I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the distinguished honor and privilege of introducing our next speaker. His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali was sworn in as Guyana's 9th Executive President on August 2, 2020. He holds a doctorate in urban and regional planning from the University of the West Indies, a Master of Arts degree in manpower planning, a postgraduate diploma in international relations, a postgraduate certificate in finances from the Angelica Ruskin University, a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors in business management from the University of Sunderland, and a master's degree in international commercial law from the University of Salford. President Ali is also a graduate of the William J. Perry Center for Hemispheric Defense Studies, where he successfully completed the Caribbean Defense and Security course. Your Excellency, as President of our developing country, you have consistently shown admirable and effective leadership and foresight at various levels, and accordingly, we anxiously await your charge, which will form part of our focus during conference and for the year ahead. May I take this opportunity, sir, to invite you to deliver your feature address. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Madam Chancellor, Cabinet colleague, Madam Chief Justice, Chief of Staff, Commissioner of Police, DPP, senior officers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. It gives me great honor to address you once more in the context of our one Guyana. The dreams and aspirations of one Guyana depends heavily on a country that is secure and stable. Depends heavily on a people who believe in those entrusted with their security, and depends on an agency entrusted with the security of the people and the nation. So be professional and at all times adhere to their oath of office. So it is in this context that the modernization, the shift, and realignment of the Guyana Police Force must be contextualized. The Guyana Police Force is Guyana's principal law enforcement agency. Its mandate, as outlined in the Police Act, tasks the force with the prevention and detection of crime, the preservation of peace, the repression of internal disturbance, the protection of public and private property, the apprehension of offenders, and the enforcement of the country's laws. The execution of this mandate entails cooperation between the Guyana Police Force and the citizens. Over the last year, we have seen varied scenarios in terms of public property. And I want to ask the Guyana Police Force to remember in its mandate that the protection of public property is an important component of their responsibility. We have not sat back and looked at the various fires in public property without an assessment. And it is a concern, the protection of public property, and we have expressed this concern to the ministry and to the Guyana Police Force. The police, in order to enjoy such cooperation and cultivate greater trust in its relations with the public, must be able to build public confidence. In my address to last year's annual Police Officers Conference, I emphasized the importance of the police force improving its public image. I urged the need for the force to repair the way in which it is perceived by the public. I also noted that we must do this by reforming the force's organizational structure, restoring the force brand, and recommitting to greater professionalism. Over the past year, I'm satisfied that efforts have been made to reposition the force and improve community relations. I commend the Commissioner and officers, senior officers, for the efforts made in this regard. However, much more work remains to be done. There have been some incidents which have brought the force into dispute and which have hurt its attempt to improve its relationship with the public. I anticipate that this year we will see a more concerted and focused effort to develop a medium to long-term strategy aimed at improving the image of the force. I look forward to interventions to boost public confidence in the work of the Guyana Police Force. The police must improve its relations with the communities and citizens. The public is also obligated to support the work of the force. If there is mistrust in these relations, public order will be under threat because the police will be unable to elicit the degree of support it needs to effectively execute its lawful mandate. On this point, I wish to bring into focus the public communication unit of the Guyana Police Force. It should not be a reactive unit. The unit must be a proactive unit aimed at continuously educating the public, aimed at continuously positioning the work of the force, aimed at continuously bringing issues that are relevant to the execution of the mandate of the police force to the fore. For example, many are asking after the very deadly accident on the West Demerara, why is it persons under the influence or continue to be a hindrance to public safety. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. But we need an education program that is not one-off. We need an educational campaign on this issue. A campaign that is sustained, one that is built on a communication strategy, and one that incorporates all the avenues in which the public receives information, including our social media platform. So I would like to see some tangible, not only plans, but some actionable targets in relation to this. The force relies on members of the public for intelligence, information, and support to prevent crime and those engaged in criminal enterprise. This support is vital to effective law enforcement. The public, in turn, relies on the police for service and protection. I must say that a high percentage of police action in the just concluded year was based on good intelligence gathering. And I've seen the results of intelligence-led approach to policing. And I want to congratulate all those involved. An effective crime prevention strategy requires that the force make societal interventions to reduce the incidence of crime. Over the years, the Guyana Police Force has been addressing risk groups and working with them to reduce the threat, behavioral threats, and also offering them an alternative pathway. I want to congratulate the work of the Guyana Police Force in communities, some communities described as at-risk communities. Very proactive and targeted work. And I want to assure the Guyana Police Force that the government will back them with livelihood options and will back them with the necessary tools to give these communities an alternative and help them to be incorporated into the mainstream economy. This is a commitment that the government will give also. The Guyana Police Force has also positioned itself as a catalyst for change. We have seen the excellent work of the police force on issues of the environment, national beautification program, and changing the medians across our country. I don't know that we give them enough credit, both the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Police Force, for this type of work. But I want to say that the engineering and developmental arm of both the police force and army has been working very, very closely together. And I must say that one of the tremendous accomplishments in the last year is the extremely great results, not good, great results, as a result of coordination between our security entities and security bodies. And I want to congratulate the heads of all these agencies. And I want to say that from Jerry has also been played a part in this. And this is a type of relationship building. There is a tremendous improvement, a visual improvement in the relationship and support of members in the joint services, the respect for each other, the support for each other. And this would only resound to the benefit of all the entities under your command. And this is the way that we must embrace the future. We are a small population and requires us to work strongly together if we are to achieve our common objectives. The force needs all the help it can get. It is no secret that the Guyana Police Force is operating below establishment. It is also known that given the size of Guyana, it is impossible for police divisions to have a physical presence in every community. This limited reach presents challenges for effective policing. The efforts of the force must be complemented by the public. It is for this reason that there is a deliberate policy of my administration to resuscitate the community policing groups. The police must expand this initiative so that these groups can act as the ears, eyes, and arms of law enforcement within communities. Work has started on this, but we need to accelerate the pace and progress in this regard. There must be tremendous synergy between what the police force do, how the executive support that, and the judiciary. And I want to propose that we have a strategic session to see how, because the judiciary can also help us to identify areas of weaknesses. And we can also raise concerns. So unless we can come in a room and we can discuss issues, we can discuss the future direction of the different arms of government and the role and changes that is required, we will not be able to build an intricate model to meet the future requirement. And I want to urge that we convene such a forum in which we can have a closed door, open, frank discussion, not only discussion, strategy session on identifying cross-cutting issues, identifying common issues, and identifying solutions and costing those solutions and working together in bringing those solutions to the table. We must not be in a public debate sometimes on where weaknesses are. We must be able to be in a room and strategically work on those weaknesses, those challenges, and come up with solutions. And I position it here today that we have enough brain power, human capacity in this room alone to do this. And we must work towards doing this very, very quickly. We do not need consultancy to do this for us. We are working in the system. We have experience in the system. We understand the system. And more importantly, we know what is required to take the system forward. It is just a commitment from all of us now to do what is required to take the system forward. And I want to say to you that you have my full commitment in advancing this charge. The force is being strengthened to better combat crime. It is being recapitalized, including through additions to its transportation fleet, renovations to existing police stations, and the construction of new ones, and the provision of better and more modern equipment. Our intention is to provide policemen and women with the tools to do their job better. So, but we can give and we can present the best facilities. We can present the best environment for work. But we cannot present or change the attitude unless at an individual level we understand what is the attitude that is required for effective policing. You know, if one is to examine the evolution of the force, you would see that sometimes we believe that shouting in a police station is the right attitude. If you go to some police station or past some police stations, you will hear the constables, you will hear them from the road. But communication can be effective through different forms. You can be able to get far more information based on your approach. And this is something that we must pay attention to. We are strengthening the regionalization of the force to ensure stronger regional divisions, which can be more responsive to crime. We're also emphasizing training and improved working conditions for members of the force. Notwithstanding these positive developments, it can no longer be business as usual when it comes to policing. We have to move away from the policy of gradualism, which finds comfort in incremental improvement in crime fighting. We cannot continue on the same trajectory. There must be more rapid improvement to the work of the force. And this is critical. The work of the force is linked to the nature of the economy and the development that is taking place. And we are seeing rapid transformation of the country from a physical perspective, but from an economic perspective too. And if you look at the sophistication of the investors who are coming, it demonstrates to you where Guyana is positioned today. Now, we cannot, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of time to gradually climb to what is required of us. So we have to examine what is required of us 2030 and make those changes today. That is the difference in the environment in which we are operating. We have to make those changes today. We have to create the environment today for what is required in 2030. And we have this responsibility to ensure that we do this. Our economy is expanding. Our country is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Aggregate investments, both public and private, are increasing. Citizens are investing in new homes, cars, and other personal belongings. Businesses are expanding. Those making these investments are doing so with the understanding that the country will boost security to protect them and their investment. And if you want to see physically how the country is changing and how your work is becoming even more difficult, you just have to look at various development zones in the country and look at the traffic during peak and off-peak. And you will see that the traffic build-up is not only now centralized in Georgetown, East Bank, East Coast corridor, but it now goes all the way down the West Coast, the West Bank, goes down the way to Berbice, even at Cuba, we're having difficulties. So the economy is expanding, but we have a very limited population. So the strategy has to be built on the effective and efficient use of technology, and I'll get to that point in a few moments. Guyana's transformation will be hobbled and restrained unless security is drastically improved. Crime must not become a bugbearer of development. It is for this reason that I say it cannot be business as usual when it comes to policing. The Guyana Police Force must up its game. Our streets, communities, homes, and businesses must become safer places, much safer. In order to improve public security, the government will be investing in the technological advancement of the force. It will also be equipping the force with the means, both material and human, to bring about drastic improvements to public safety. Government would also be investing in ensuring a system of rapid and resolute response to crime. Technology has the potential to be a game changer in policing. Over the past few years, we have seen how CCTV cameras have positively impacted our crime fighting strategy. The police have been able to utilize footage, often from private businesses and homes, to help detect crime and to identify those involved in carrying out criminal activities. In order to boost crime fighting, we are resuscitating and expanding the Safe City program. This year, we have allocated $2.5 billion to expand the Safe City program beyond the boundaries of Georgetown. Our objective is to eventually connect the entire country with CCTV cameras and to have these centrally monitored. Information technology will be used to assist our police planners to better map crime and utilize analytics as a crime-fighting tool. Face recognition and vehicular license plate technologies will also be utilized to help intercept lawbreakers. Technology is also expected to be deployed to improve safety on our roads. The reckless use of our roads must be brought to an end. We cannot continue to lose our precious human resources to preventable road accidents. Our roads are for moving people safely around. They are not racing circuits or local remakes of the Fast and the Furious. I've already signaled that we'll install fixed speed radars on our main roads so as to identify those who use our roads recklessly and to photograph these infractions. This will be a costly investment, but one which is absolutely essential to stem road carnage. We also will be enhancing the force's forensic and investigative capacity. Greater use of forensic and investigative tools will make it much easier for detectives to solve crimes. Our intention is to modernize the force's crime-fighting capabilities to align them increasingly with international best practice and standards. I want to also say that the CID had tremendous results in the last year in terms of bringing people or holding people accountable for the crimes they've committed. And I want to congratulate the work of the CID. I want to congratulate the operational efficiency of the force. I think we have much to celebrate, but much also to strengthen and work harder in achieving the results we want to achieve. Among the standards to which our people are entitled is fast response. For too long, we have reports about slothful response to crime by the force. Our intention is to improve the force communications and operational readiness so as to ensure a system of rapid response to crime reports. The bugbear of slow response will be addressed by ensuring that every division is equipped eventually with modern communications system and with an adequate fleet of vehicles. In order to support the work of the Guyana Police Force, I also asked the Minister to examine how our response system can be linked to private security agencies, because private security agencies are increasing in our country and they have a lot of assets. So if we integrate our response system, then we can also have a response mechanism with private security that is also supported by the government. So this is something that we have to look at in integrating our national pool of assets in our crime fighting strategy. We are investing in the professional development of ranks. A better trained force will be in a much stronger position to deliver the results which are required. We are striving for a police force which embraces professionalism. There can be no place for brute force and ignorance in policing. It is also unacceptable for the police to be rude and ill-mannered to the public. As such, great attention is being paid to providing increased opportunities for training both locally and internationally. In addition to many ranks who are on the Gold Scholarship Program and many ranks who are studying at the University of Guyana, we have allocated a further 120 million Guyana dollars to boost training in the force. Succession is an important aspect of professional development. I'm aware that some of you are concerned about your promotions. I want to assure you that this matter is being addressed. There are certain legal requirements which have to be met. We are taking steps to ensure that this is done. There is a constitutional requirement that I consult with the leader of the opposition, and this question has been asked. And I said it very clearly, that in the appointment of any constitutional office, whatever is required of the Constitution, that is the process I will follow. There is no need to guess or to form your own opinion on this. I wish to emphasize that the operational responsibilities shall remain with the Commissioner of Police. Purview of the government shall be to develop effective policies to support the work of the Guyana Police Force. So there are a few issues that I would want to conclude on that I would like this conference to take into consideration. And they all surround the theme of restructuring, reform, repositioning, reengineering, repurpose, reorienting, and building a reliable police force. One, I've asked the Minister of Home Affairs to develop a policy on an incentive-based performance system for the Guyana Police Force that is linked to reward. We have seen how this has helped in countries like Rwanda. It's changed dramatically the image of the law enforcement entity, and it has brought results. So whilst we have an average time of 5-6 years, persons moving up the ranks, there must be a mechanism in which emoluments is affected other than promotion. So I've asked that we develop an incentive-based performance system. And this must be supported on a mechanism or a platform of a highly trained, committed police force. The second issue that we are discussing with development partners is the development of a police academy, not only for Guyana, but a regional police academy. And we are in detailed discussions with many of our development partners in the developed world and in the developing world also on their experiences in this. And we are pursuing a path of the development of a police academy. The third issue has to do with smart policing. The days of boots on the ground, especially in a small population, are really coming to a situation of being outdated. The new dimension of policing is eyes on you, monitoring and intelligence gathering. And that is where we have to position the force. Investment in resources that builds our capacity in monitoring and having a situation where we have eyes on you in development of a modern police force that is on the platform of smart policing. This requires a few things. How do we ensure that people can make a report in an environment in which they are comfortable? So I want to propose a pilot study in which we have digital reporting booths. That is, in strategic areas, we put an electronic booth in which people can go there and write their own statement and make their own report and send it electronically to the police or on a platform. So there is no interface or interaction. So if there is fear in going into a police setting or going into a police station, then a digital platform in the form of a digital reporting booth can help this. So this is something that we should work on as an experiment. Moving to a digital platform for ticketing. We have started this discussion with the Guyana Revenue Authority, and on all our new highways, we're going to incorporate this feature where we can move towards digital ticketing and recognition in terms of speeding, in terms of seatbelt violations and so on. And that system must be automatically linked to the suspension of license and so on. So we now have to make the laws work. We have a lot of modern laws and that is there that I won't say ineffective, but it's not giving us the results because the system is not in place to allow the law to give us the results that is needed. So we have to move towards this digital platform. And I want to put Guyana on notice that this is the direction we're going. A common information sharing platform. We have information all over the place. So if someone, for example, if you're checking on someone with a gun license, for a gun license, sometimes you have that person at station for 4 or 5 hours going through manual records to see whether this person is a licensed firearm holder. If we have a common information sharing platform, then we can get that. Even for the judiciary, let us say a magistrate sitting down can access that platform if you have someone coming before them. And they can have the whole history of that person, whether they're a repeat offender, whether that person had charges before, whether they were convicted before. And this helped the judiciary in the administration or administering justice in a more efficient manner. So this information platform must be one that support the work of entities and support the work of all arms of government. Like I said, I came in a few nights ago and I saw a few flights on the ground. And we have an advanced passenger information system that tells you all those who need secondary check. So you don't have to spend 5-6 minutes on every passenger that comes in. And, you know, talking to the immigration officers, we saw a clearing very effectively. But that is not the usual course. And this is something we have to look at. We cannot put the technology in place and then be afraid to use the technology, or be afraid to use the results of the technology. Then it becomes useless, a useless investment. We have to be able to trust the technology also. So then we have the strategic and critical thinking. We have to change the mindset from officers up, from the level of officers especially. We have to make you into strategic and critical thinkers. And we have started work on this. We are launching very soon with the University of Guyana a master's program in strategic development studies. It's a program that is supported by the US, and it is a program that will have international backing in terms of content and certification. So we are hoping that a lot of the officers will be part of this program so that we can have a more strategic and critical thinking path to decision making in the Guyana Police Force. The issue of drinking under influence. Now we have to look at this. I think it requires burden sharing. I've looked at the Canadian model, and there is a concept of burden sharing. For example, a bartender has a responsibility if he is serving alcohol to someone who is a driver. Or if someone is at a bar and some responsibility must be on that establishment to ensure that that person who is drinking or under the influence does not enter the driving seat of a vehicle. So I want you to think of this, look at this model, and how we can have a system of burden sharing. Because more than 70% of the accidents are caused by persons under the influence. And we have to expand our net in stopping this at the bottom. No, it is no sense we allow them to drive and then you make the accident. Yes, the law is strong. You can lose your license and go to jail. But, you know, the persons are already dead. So how do we build a system that allows for burden sharing, where it must become a part of the culture of our country? A part of the culture, you know, in Canada, the law is so, the burden sharing mechanism is so detailed and deep that if you have a house party and you are the owner of that home, you have to make certain announcement first. If you're drinking, if you're driving, you're not allowed to drink or consume alcohol. And when the person leaves your home, if you allow them to leave your home in a drunken state, you have responsibility too. If you allow them to leave your home in a drunken state and drive a vehicle, then you also have some questions to answer. That is how we will rapidly change the culture of drinking and driving in the country. Not only by the strong enforcement of the law. So we have to examine this. There are already best practices globally. And we must all agree. We must all agree that this is a problem. We have to recognize that this is a problem. It's a serious problem. And sometimes we don't understand the magnitude of the problem until we are personally affected. But as president, I have to communicate with people who go through this pain. And it's one of the most painful experience and conversation you ever have to have. So I want us to examine that as part of the modernization process. How do we have this burden sharing type of activity? The application of the law, we have to look at gaps, and this is where we'll have the strategic session. Now I want to make it very clear, and I'm happy that the Commissioner mentioned the issue of the migrants. I saw in one newspaper total misrepresentation in relation to the issue of migrants. And this is a serious issue for our country. I do not know why we think that a negative story helps our country. The truth is, up to yesterday, we had a high-level meeting, not only strategizing as to how we allow, how we support the migrants, but how do we incorporate them into communities? How do we support their livelihood, their hygiene, their health? And we had a briefing with the international community. We are not running refugee camps like many countries in which you cross the border and you're in a chain link fence with razor wire all around you. We are approaching this from a humanitarian perspective. And I think it is irresponsible if we don't understand the holistic approach. So, up to yesterday, they had a briefing with the international community too. We've established a high-level task force that is looking at this. It includes the Guyana Defense Force, the Guyana Police Force, members of the cabinet, the National Security Advisor, regional authorities, the international community. Because we recognize that this is a serious issue. We also have security concerns that we cannot ignore. The sixth issue is that I spoke of, that I want to bring clarity on, is the hemp industry. It is my hope that Guyana can develop a viable hemp industry. The hemp industry is not only about hemp production, but it's about having the processing and value-added facilities here in Guyana. And these are industries that can generate jobs. These are industries that bring high-value returns in terms of the processing and value-added aspect. Hemp industry is completely different from marijuana plantation, completely different. Now, I made a statement that we need to, and I want to say that I approach things from a very, my approach is dealing with things in a realistic way. If we have people in marijuana plantation, and all of us know we have a lot of farms, marijuana farms, and we can bring those persons to an understanding that you do not need to go down this road, that we're developing an industry in which you can be a part of it, that will give you more returns in a legal way, and you don't have to pay hiding and risk your future and your family future. Then it's a net gain for the country. It's a net gain for the country. And I want to have that conversation. And I think that it is the responsibility of the president to lead in some of these areas in creating the level of trust for the transformation that is required. So yes, this is an industry that can also help in at-risk communities. Now, an important issue is the realignment of pay scales. I spoke about that in terms of an incentive-based performance system. But we also have to look at the pay scale of the Guyana Police Force as against other entities. And we had promised that in terms of realigning pay scale across agencies in the government. Things will get better, conditions will get better, your emolument package will get better, but also with that, we require better performance. Now, the country that is rapidly changing will present to us new growth poles, new industrial hubs. The East Coast corridor as we know it today will change not only dramatically, but will change beyond recognition by the time we get up to 2030. The East Bank corridor as we know it will change beyond recognition by the time we get up to 2030. The new modern road links and new road networks, the new development hubs, the Wales Development Authority, the Gas to Shore project, the National Digital Platform, the modernization of the aviation sector, new municipal airports, bridging our borders, creating an exclusive agri-production and export zone, new sports and recreational infrastructure, new private sector investments in hotels, shore-based facilities, tourism facilities, are all going to change the landscape of our country and change the condition under which we have to deliver our services at different levels. And we have to start positioning ourselves to be part of this magnitude of change that will take place. These are some of the critical issues that I'm hoping we can address. Our country is also hosting more and more international forums. We just had the Energy Conference. We just had a lot of state visits. This year alone, we have more than 5 requests for state visits before the end of the year. We have more than 4 international forums and expos that want to come to Guyana. We have the FAO Caribbean and Latin American Heads of Government meeting that is coming to Guyana in 2024. So we have to up our game at every level. From the services industry, from policing, we can't have these magnitude of events and changes and we are not ready to showcase Guyana. All of us are part of presenting the Guyana that we want to showcase. It is a personal responsibility that we have, and I think we must all be committed to that responsibility. We're going to invest in you. We're going to invest in the infrastructure assets that is needed. And more importantly, we're going to invest in the people of our country to ensure that they feel a part of what is happening. But more importantly, they see the need of adjusting where adjustment is needed to be part of this development process. Once the people understand that they're part of it, once the people see benefits that will come to them, once we are able to reduce inequality and disparity, we will be able to bring people along. And once we bring people along, then inherently in every human, they want to do better for themselves and their families. And once we present the opportunity for them to do better for themselves and families, they'll be less inclined to criminal ways. So I want to thank you very much and wish you well at this conference. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Ephraim Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, all protocols having been established, good morning. I stand before you with profound honor, privilege, and humility to express, on behalf of the Commissioner of Police and all members of the force, our unwavering gratitude to Your Excellency for having taken the time off your many responsibilities to join us today and to deliver your charge to us at this forum, the 2022 Police Officers Conference. I'd first like to thank the Creator for bringing us all through 2021 and into 2022 so that we can come together to deliberate on how we can better implement strategies focused on better serving the citizens of Guyana through competence, professionalism, and partnership. We have made it. Secondly, I wish to thank the administrators and selectors who have worked assiduously in preparing for this year's conference under the theme, Promoting Improvement of Public Trust and Confidence, Maintaining Safety and Security through Competence, Professionalism, and Partnership. A theme could not be rivaled as it is timely and relevant to contemporary law enforcement. This theme signals the unwavering efforts through reformation and the creation of a modernized police force capable of employing the right people at the right time and placing them in the right positions to get maximum output in meeting the goals of this organization. Further, it indicates our ability to develop infrastructures which accommodates systems and technological capabilities to combat crime in this 21st century. This would enable members of the force to be more proactive in their pursuits, in tandem with the force's mandate as continuous service and protection is offered. And to develop men and women whose honor to their badge and oath comes first as we seek to promote public trust and confidence. Hence, doing the right thing for the right purpose. Your Excellency, we understand that we cannot do this alone, and we must partner with our citizens, residents, and visitors as we exist to provide quality law enforcement service with emphasis on the maintenance of law and order, the preservation of peace, the prevention and detection of crime, and as you mentioned, protection of public property and the enforcement of laws. We will do our utmost to retain public's trust and shall perform our duties in a manner which respects individual human rights and which reflects fairness, sensitivity, and compassion. Yet, we shall all act in firm pursuit of all offenders of the laws, so as to ensure a safe and just society, whether neither crime nor fear of crime adversely affects the quality of life in our one Guyana. Your Excellency, your speech has laid due emphasis on this theme and the importance of the role played by any police force in any democracy. The points delivered and recommendations made were salient and crucial, germane to those roles we seek to perform. It is upon this foundation that we will build our inspiration and focus our energies for the ensuing deliberations. I would like to thank all our invited guests for having traveled far and near to honor us with your presence and to contribute to the discussions that will follow. Working together, we can orchestrate organizational and society efforts for this reform. In closing, Your Excellency, Simon Sinek explains why, how, and what. It is through these simple words that he explains that organizations and some leaders are able to inspire and grow to greater heights where others aren't. And every single person, he says, every single organization on this planet knows what they do. 100%. Some know how to do it. It is whether you call in your differentiated value position or proprietary process in this entire system. But the question he ponders upon is but very few organizations and leaders wonder why. Why do we do the things that we do? Why do we seek to get the results that we seek to get? Why? What's your purpose? What's your cause? And what's your belief? Why does organization like the Guyana Police Force even exist? Or why do we get out of bed every single morning? And why should anyone care about the services that we offer? It is at conferences like these we seek to answer these questions. The members of the Guyana Police Force are cognizant that there is need for deliberations and later formidable decisions that will seek to answer this why as we seek to make Guyana a greater and safer place. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you, Your Excellency. God bless the Guyana Police Force. And God bless this beautiful country of Guyana.